Hi guys, it's Jen here from Just Jen Cosplay, and I've got a little bit of a different segment for you today. So if you've watched any of my previous things to do with my makeup for Lady Sylvanas, you will know that I have been using a brand called Kryolan. They are, they're a fairly big name in the makeup world, but for me it's the fact that my brother had that stuff already. Because he had that stuff already and he is technically a qualified makeup artist, he asked me to go to the Kryolan store on his behalf. Once a year, this company, Kryolan, they do what's called a bag sale. Simple premise, you pay a set price, you get a small bag or a big bag depending on the price, and you get 15 minutes to fill your bag with anything from a set sort of group of supplies, and then you leave. It's a really interesting experience. Probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody who doesn't want a lot of stuff. But yeah, here's my experience of going to the store. So I arrived in London, this is the one closest to me. It took me roughly an hour and a half to get there, by the time you include all the tubes to each other and everything. And I also made wrong turning when I was walking to the shop. It's literally a 2-minute walk away from the station. I walked in the wrong direction. Good job. Anyway, got there and the queue was round the corner, down the street. It was quite long, and whilst I'd expected it to be quite popular, because it is a good deal, I was perhaps a little bit overwhelmed with just the pure number of people that had actually turned up. Not long after I got there, so I got there about 10:30 and the sale was on between 11 and 1. And I thought to myself, I'd wanted to get there a little bit early, but as I said, went the wrong way and probably added on about another 10-15 minutes to my day. So I would have been there a little bit earlier. Not that I know if that would have made a huge amount of difference, but anyway. So I joined the queue and it almost immediately started to rain. It was only sort of spitting to begin with, but it was cold. I mean, it's February in the UK, so it was cold. Not quite like snow cold or anything. I'm not talking like, you know, Siberia or anything like that, but it was chilly. So yeah, here's just a couple of the little videos that I took whilst I was in the queue. So as I said there, I got there about 10:30. I managed to get into the store at roughly 3 o'clock. It was about 3 minutes to 3. So they had actually extended the sale on beyond the sale time. However, by the time I got in, we were sort of the last group to be let in, and there were still many people behind us. They did tell us at that point that there was a potential that we weren't actually going to fill a bag with stuff that was down there. So they sort of do 3 separate things they classed it as, which was special effects, beauty, and body paint. Now, luckily for me, body paint is kind of what I wanted. I did want some beauty stuff as well. I would have loved to have been able to get some Kryolan mascara and eyeshadow and other stuff to make myself super pretty so that you guys can be like, oh, look at her, she's so pretty. But unfortunately that wasn't really the case for me. But I did manage to fill a bag. So once I got into the store, they let us stand in there for, it was probably about 5 to 10 minutes roughly, to let us warm up, because we were just, everyone was shivering. I was prepared, I suppose. I had a proper coat on, waterproof coat. I had hat, scarf, gloves, and yeah, I had quite a warm, I've got a microfleece jumper that I had worn as well, which is just generally what I wear mainly for walking the dog. So I just chucked it on in the morning because I walked the dog before I took the train up to London. And I hadn't really changed, so I was kind of lucky, really, because some of the girls were there in skirts and people didn't have coats on. And as I say, it was raining and we were stood I say we, I met these girls whilst I was there and we got chatting, so we were then a we rather than me all on my own. Yeah, so we stood there from 10:30 until 3 o'clock. We got into the store. Then normally all it is a case of you pick, so this is a big bag or a little bag, and you pay for it and then they just let you down. But because we were so late in the day, they said that they were going to let us have 1 minute viewing time to look around and decide whether we actually wanted a bag at all, or a small or a large bag, because the ones before us hadn't got that choice. They'd had to pay and hope that there was enough stuff that they wanted down there. But as I say, by the time we got in there was no beauty. Beauty had just gone. And the special effects, there was not very much. There was sort of some blood and a couple of other bits, mainly face paints or body paints. So for me, that was all right, because that, as I say, that's kind of what I wanted for the cosplay stuff. Anyway, so here's just a very, very quick video I took inside the store. And then once we'd warmed up, they let us downstairs. So the downstairs room is maybe, I'm not very good at sizes, maybe sort of 5 meters by 5 meters square room. There was tables all the way around, or like a worktop all the way around, and then 2 benches in the middle. And on the side there was probably 3 boxes, sort of plastic boxes of stuff on each side, so sort of 3, 3, 3. 3 on each of these benches down the middle, and then at the back there was more the special effects stuff, so as I said, mainly blood. It was fun. It was a great experience. I enjoyed it. In hindsight, it was cold at the time. In hindsight, would I have spent the whole day? Bear in mind, I thought I'd be gone by 1 o'clock, not even going into the store until 3 o'clock. Probably not. So, yeah. Unless you're going to go and get there at like 4 o'clock in the morning and be the first person into the store, I don't think it's worth it. So unless you are very, very determined to get something, and even then what's available isn't necessarily what's always on sale. Anyway, I managed to fill a bag, as you can see. It's full. You're not allowed to go over the top at all, so it's all got to be in line with that. So what I'll do is I will get this all out and I'll show you roughly what I got. Just so you know, this year the large bag was £80, small bag was £40. I have estimated, and it is an estimate, that if I were to buy each of these things individually, they would have cost me about £850, something like that. There are a couple of bits that there isn't a price for at all. So that's Aqua colour, so that's what I used on my face for Filet De Chavannes. So that doesn't appear to exist. It's a 15mm. They do an 8mm and they do a 30mm. I couldn't find the 15. So I just priced it up as the 8mm, and that's how I roughly got to the £850. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was absolutely worth it, including train ticket. I got a dog sitter in for the dog, because obviously I was then out all day rather than at home with her. So I made like, 8 times what I spent. But you're not allowed to resell it. Whether people would want to buy stuff that you've already bought anyway is an iffy question. Like, do people actually want to touch stuff not knowing where it's come from? But yeah, as I say, I'll get it out and I'll show you. Ooh. So here we go. This is it all out on the floor. So obviously I've got a lot of brushes. I've got 15 of these brushes and I think it's 6 of these brushes. They were the only brushes left in the store by the time I went in. I have got a lot of lipsticks, and they're all lots of different colours. There's a couple of ones that have repeated, but yeah, some really nice lipsticks. All different colours, from sort of nice browns and reds. There's a blue, sort of a nice pinky colour. There's some really dark brown. which I'm really interested to try out. A really sort of blood red colour, so that hopefully that'll be nice. There's too much light, it's too sunny. Oh, hang on, wait. There, you can just see it in the not the sunlight. But there's also a green colour as well, which is probably good for fading out lips if I need to for any reason. These are all face paints, Aqua colours. So these are all the ones that you add a little bit of water to. So I went with some more natural colours over this side, so they're what you generally wear on stage. But they should also help me for some of the costumes I've got coming up. You can tell that I had Lady Sylvanas on my mind because lots of blues and purples were there. There's even a really dark purple here. That's a brown, so it should really be on that side with those ones. And a green, apparently. I wish I'd picked up some more colours. If I'd picked up some maybe reds and oranges. And Luna's come to see us. 1 second. There you go. Dog invading. I've got 2 nail varnishes, which just happen to be there, a silver and a lovely red colour. I don't know if you can see in there, yeah. So, yeah, that would be nice. These are all lip Bruises, so again, to add to all of my many lipsticks. So again, these are going to be more helpful in my mind for the for my cosplays rather than just normal lipstick, because I should be able to use it with a brush to make my lips bigger, smaller, depending on the size I need. These are Fresh Scratch. It's not going to focus, is it? Anyway, I've got a few of those. So partly I got it for Amdram group and that, so that they can use some of that. And wound filler, dark wound filler. Can't really read it because it's just not focusing. Oh well. I've got some glitter hairsprays. That's blue hairspray. I have no idea why I picked that up. This I couldn't find on their website, but it's a prosthetic adhesive, so hopefully that will help for sticking things to me. Fake blood, which would be helpful obviously if I'm doing some kind of villain who's beaten somebody up and or for any kind of zombie or something. This is a thickening agent. I wanted to get hold of some silicone so that I could actually make some ears, but I couldn't. This is a bold cap stuff. So I don't know if I'll ever make my own bold caps, but I now have the ability to if I want to. Might be helpful if I was ever going to do something like the Borg Queen, who obviously has a bold head. I also picked up these wig clips, which you can sew into wigs to make them a little bit more sturdy on your head. So I just happened to see them and grabbed them and just chucked them in. So yeah, as I say, that if I was going to buy this stuff, as an estimate, would probably be around £800, £850. And I got it all for 80. So there we have it. I hope that was semi-useful for you. At least you can see what I got, what I spent my weekend doing. So the reason I'd really debated about whether or not to go was because I feel like I'm quite behind with my glass armour build. Obviously, I've got to have it ready by the end of March because I'm wearing it to Cosexpo. And at the moment, I don't know if it's going to be ready, so I was like, I don't really know if I can spend 4 hours away in London. But I felt like I did quite well on Friday with making some bits, so I will update you next week with how far I'm getting with that. I'm hoping that I'll have it all stuck together and I can do like a test fitting. Obviously it won't look right because it will be all the wrong colours and everything because it won't be fully painted by any means. But hopefully I'll be able to try it all on and show you how it's looking for next week. Actually, no, I won't. I will just show you how I'm making the skirt to make sure that the skirt is ready next week. Anywho, if you've got any questions or anything, I did think about maybe some of the stuff I could, certainly the blue and a couple of the brushes, I could maybe do a giveaway or something on my page at some point if people would be interested, because they could make yourself look like Sylvanas. But we shall see anyway. As I say, hope you enjoyed that, and peace out or something. See you next week. Bye guys.